Hi, I'm David Cuillier, and I appreciate you for listening to this Ignite talk about 10 ways we can improve the ability of journalists and citizens to access government information vital to our democracy. These are ideas that many smart and amazing people provided in interviews and a survey I conducted for a report published last March on behalf of the John S. and James L. Knight Foundation. This study followed up on a 2017 Knight report that found that 4 out of 10 journalists said they saw an increase in public record request denials, and 9 out of 10 expected it to get worse, which it certainly has. In fact, we all know that legacy media are less and less likely to sue for public records than they were just 10 years ago, at a time when government agencies are getting better and better at gaming the system. Democracy is at stake. James Hamilton of Stanford calculated that for every dollar spent by newspapers on record-based investigative reporting, society benefits $287. That's a phenomenal ROI. So what do we do about it? How can we push back against the increasing wave of government secrecy when most news organizations are focused on just staying alive? Let's run through a few possibilities. First, we can harness the energy, knowledge, and creativity of citizen activists who are skilled at acquiring public records. These include Russ Kick, who created the Memory Hole, and AltGov2, as well as those who created Government's Attic and Public Resource. Our conversations are scattered with separate convenings for federal FOIA, state coalitions, open government, law clinics, FOI researchers, and other sectors. One umbrella convention could spur amazing collaborations and innovation. Just as medicine, agriculture, and manufacturing industries need to invest in research and development, so do those who protect democracy. We need a strategic research center to produce useful findings that can be applied by journalists. National Sunshine Week is a good start at educating the public, but we need much, much more. In the state of Sinaloa, Mexico, for example, they require FOI education in the schools. Why can't we? Now, the FOI universe is diverse and spread out among a dozen sectors or galaxies. We need some coordinating entity to help the hundreds of groups collaborate for more impact, avoiding duplication and filling gaps. Journalists are quick to influence case law through litigation, but reluctant to get involved in legislative change and lobbying. We need an entity that can coordinate efforts to get better laws adopted throughout the country, essentially the NRA for FOI. A fair amount of foundation grants have recently been dedicated to litigation, particularly through Reporters Committee for Freedom of the Press and law clinics. It's great, but we'll never meet the litigation needs by just throwing money at it. Indeed, let the market handle that on its own through mandatory fee-shifting provisions in public record laws. About a third of states have such laws, and research indicates that these provisions are correlated with better compliance. Training for journalists is spread out among dozens of organizations. Create a training hub to train the trainers, one in every state, who can then train journalists and citizens. A $100 million endowment wouldn't guarantee this forever. We must look beyond the frequent funders in the journalism galaxy to invest in FOI, such as tech companies that rely on the free flow of information, civil society groups, commercial information providers, and even the government sector. Ultimately, democracy is at stake, and those who care about its survival need to invest in the future. A $1 billion fund created by a federation of funders could distribute $50 million annually across the country every year. To put that in perspective, all of the state coalitions for open government total just $2.5 million in revenues each year. Altogether, total, a $1 billion endowment could amplify impact 20 times. Some of these ideas are ambitious, no doubt, and perhaps moonshot goals, but we need to think big. If we lose our ability to see what our government is up to, then journalism will be hamstrung and society lost. I'm happy to talk with anyone who has questions or suggestions. Thank you for listening. That means you care. I truly believe we can do this. I believe we must do this. We can. Thank you.